people to see me.
And we're live. We got a new moderator and stuff, you know. We had some changes in the ranks.
We
So I'm
live.
gonna be
You sure?
yeah,
You
man. I
sure
just
we?
said that.
You sure we live? You sure we
If
live?
you
This
let me know,
now we live.
non-computer having what's that? All right, so now I'm gonna
I'm
go
just
ahead and
saying.
pass it
Still
off.
say off air on mine. That's why.
Well, I don't know what's going on with yours. Mine say live. And as the moderator, what I say goes today. I'm young Tony Reality
Okay.
out
We
here.
we live
Y'all
now. I
gotta do
see
what
it.
I say.
Mine
Y'all
say
gotta do
live
what I
now.
say. I got executive powers and such. Everybody catching the veto. Everybody catching the mute button. And yeah. All right.
Okay.
So what's the first topic of the day?
Shouldn't the moderator know that?
Shouldn't the moderator
So
delegate to his lessers? Y'all peons who need to come up with this.
so look though. We already came up with the topic, and it was the topic of we seen this picture on Facebook, wherever social media, whoever found it, and it was showing the girl proposing to the guy, and we was saying that is that acceptable nowadays? That's some new, epidemic that's going on, and like, so so pretty much it was what everybody feel about that. How do you feel about that?
Yeah. Are gender roles changing? Why are they changing? And is that for the good or for the bad? Unfortunately, the only female on the podcast is frozen on the moment, so we can't get her perspective. So
But
I'll go ahead and open up by saying I don't think gender roles are changing because I think they're artificially changing. And what I mean by that is I think that the roles are changing for things that we think are better, but not changing for things we think are worse, right? So, for instance, we're seeing an increase in women working in the workplace and earning more money. We don't see an increase in stay-at-home dads, right? If it was equality, we'd see those things offsetting one another. We don't. So, do I think it's strange that women are proposing to men? Yeah, I mean, I consider myself to be somewhat of a traditionalist, um, and what the man's role in the family should be. But yeah, I think it's selectively changing. But I also think that and I would love again my perspective. I think it's women who are defining what that change looks like, and it's not men also defining what that change looks like. So I don't think it's the equal thing. What you think, sis?
So wait, so did you say that you thought it was good or bad?
I think it's bad because I mean, we live in America, which is a capitalist society, and we always say, laissez-faire and kind of let things be. And if we were letting things be, it's like we're not going to let all women propose. It's just someone that feels comfortable. So it's not really balanced. So if it was going to be all women who could propose, or it's 50-50, right? If the girl proposes
Hmm.
for the guy, then you just got to accept it. And if he proposes for you, like, y'all got to beat each other to the race, and that'd be one thing. But
So
no, that's
so
not.
so this kind of what I think about it, though. I wouldn't say it's not neither good or bad, but the thing is that I feel like it should be acceptable just for the simple fact that women been fighting for equality for a long time, correct?
They've been fighting for
So,
equality on certain things for a long time. Not all
all
things.
right, okay, okay, but they want to be equal and independent and all this other extra stuff. So, if that's the case,
the
then
extra stuff.
I feel like that it should be okay for them to propose to him because this goes with this though, and I still got a problem with this. Is why is that women they want to be equal and everything, but then we still got the problem of that
Uh-oh.
when I go out somewhere, a man supposed to pay for this, supposed to do all this other stuff. But we supposed to be
That's what I
equal.
said.
That
Artificial.
shouldn't matter. There's need to be no there's
That's
need to
what
be
it
no
is.
Equality all around.
What's it
equality
called?
all around.
Separate.
So
What is it called? Separate but equal.
pretty much that's what it is.
Right. Let
But
me ask you
you know
this,
what I'm
Mark.
saying. So I feel like if that's the case, then all right. If that's what they want to do, then let them do it. Then they know who they want.
Yeah, that's real though. And let me ask you a question, Omar. You said it's neither good or bad, and you think it should be accepted. If a girl proposed to you, would you be okay with that and say yes to that, or how would you proceed? How would you take that?
For one, if I really like this girl, I'm gonna propose to her first before she even get a chance to do that. But if it
Right.
was to happen, listen, let me finish though. Let me finish. But if that was to happen, I'm gonna accept it because of the fact that obviously she was like, okay, well, it might not have been that I wasn't ready or whatever, but she decided like, okay, she was ready, so she about to ask the question before I even got a chance to ask her. So if I say no, that's like, okay, it's slapping her face like, well, I don't really love you like that. I was never gonna ask you in the first place. So, and that was the case. If that was the case, it wouldn't even have made it that far for me. But I mean, I would say yeah, because I mean, she did it. Obviously, she liked me like that. If I like her, like I'm even gonna say like, because if you if you say if you going that far, you love the person. If we love each other like that, then of course I'm gonna accept it. So that's how I look at that.
Okay. James,
but I wouldn't let that happen though. I'll do it before it gets to that point.
About the whole proposal.
Ain't that right?
Well, just what do you think? You think it's good? She proposed to you.
Ain't that right?
I don't know, man. That seems kind of pushy, man. I don't know how.
So wait.
Girl did
so you
that.
Said if a girl proposed to you, you gonna say no?
I don't know if I would say yes, man. Because I'm somewhat traditionalist like David, and I feel like the man should do that.
But that's your girl, though.
I feel like if she does that, she's kind of being pushy. Like she needs to be patient enough and wait till I do it. And
why
if
she gotta wait for you?
Why
she gotta wait? Why she gotta
the,
wait for you?
That's how I feel.
The decision, the decision of the timing is 100% dependent on the man. Is what you saying?
Yeah, timing is everything. Of course, it has to.
No, what he's saying, but is the time only?
So,
the woman
yeah.
I feel like by the woman doing that, she's showing that how much she really loves you. So if you sit there and say no, you taking a chance on her being like, well, damn, I just wasted all my time with this dude. And then she might move on to somebody else. Then you're going to be back in the field looking for that one when you already had it right there in your face. But you just let it go because you were so much in your pride, though.
Well, to be fair, man.
Away, man. As life.
That's what we got to say, the one that got away.
It works both ways.
Look this. This what you can do, though. When she do that, you just pick her up and say, nah, then you get on your knee and say, let me take care of this.
Yo, that's kind of small, Rico.
Hey, Mike,
I'm just saying though.
But how does that work if you don't have a ring? If she has the ring and you didn't anticipate,
take the ring from her, brother man.
Let
me put on your own finger.
Hold on. Let's bring it back. So, because now we're looking at it from a bigger perspective. Does that mean now I send her the ring that I want? Because normally women tell me, like, I know girls who want to get.
Why does there have to be a ring involved? I guess. Like in my mind, I think it's archaic in some ways that the woman is supposed to wear a ring, and here's why. The ring symbolizes that she's not available from the market, and it's almost as though you're saying you don't trust her enough to then be like, if a guy like pursues her, to be like, nah, I'm all right. So it's just like, it almost is like, what does it actually symbolize? I feel like that money could be used elsewhere for other things. I know that a lot of my friends would disagree with me.
See, that's why I like her right there, because she thinks.
To be fair, in the picture, old girl was on one knee and she was giving a ring to old buddy, which was symbolizing he's off the market too. Is that archaic as well? Should she better spend her money on something else?
Until you guys are both have rings on, so your wedding ring, I don't see a point in it. It is almost like almost like a equity kind of thing.
Hold on, so hold on, James, hold on. I want to make sure I'm clarifying this. It's not that you're against rings, you're against one person wearing a ring and the other person not wearing a ring. Is that what you're saying?
Because of the reason the ring came into prominence. It had nothing to do with, I just really like her, I want to have her this ring. No, it's kind of showing that you own something. I put something on you, that's mine. And that means that you can't have it. So when I'm not around, everybody still knows that you belong to somebody. Then that's kind of what I feel about.
So what you're saying is that if that's how it is, that you don't need nothing to show nobody. If the woman should already, the male or female should already be like, look, I'm taken. I don't want to mess with nobody else. So they don't.
Enough.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, because some of them gonna wear a ring and they still gonna let somebody approach them and still let it happen. Yeah. But I mean.
But
in a sense, I know I understand what she's saying. She's saying that the ring almost like they put it there so like to try to help, avoid people coming that way.
I look at it from
your woman.
No, I don't look at it as I own you. Like that would never be my intention of I'm putting this on you so you know I own you. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's not how I look at it. I look at it as I'm making this promise and commitment to you that I want you and I'm going to pursue you and I'm willing to have to pay this money to show you that affection, because in our society, we live in the States.
We know that's the only time you're going to pay some money for them.
With material things. That's why we have Christmas. That's why we have birthday celebrations. Like, that's why we have these things. Valentine's Day, right? So we do it in every other avenue of our life. So this is just, again, another symbolization.
But you know what I'm saying, though? Like, for this one, it seems very specific that, like, when I get you a birthday present, I'm not giving you one to deter other people from giving you a birthday present. Also.
I don't know. People from talking to you. Like, my chick bad. Niggas is going to want to talk to her anyway, so there's no going to be no deterrent because of the size of the ring on her finger.
But when you have a ring on her finger, it's all like, she bad, I might want to talk to her, but she's already committed to someone else. Whether or not you an asshole and you still pursue her is a whole nother story. But I think of it almost as the first line of defense. Like, it's all like, we're going to deter some folk, and the boldest ones are still going to come. It don't matter. You could be right there with her. She got a ring on her finger. She holding a baby. It doesn't matter. A bold person is still going to come after it. But it's always like that first line.
I don't care. I don't say, and I get where you're going from. I'm just saying, I never looked at it from that perspective. Like, I never looked at it as I'm trying to hurt people. Like, again, I want dudes to be like, oh man, I wish I could get that. I want niggas to be salivating when she walks by.
You know, and I get that, and I'm kind of torn sometimes because, like, I'm all for, like, gender roles, like equality and stuff like that. So I switch back and forth between, like, I don't want one because I don't want what that stands for. But then when I think of society, not only do I want one where you are scared for me if I go into the water because I might drown. Like, that's how big I want the mess of it.
Nothing, Mr. William.
So,
there it goes. Now come full circle.
My core moral value, if we speak to my core moral value of being like a feminist and being like, oh, I don't want those standards, then I'm like, no, I don't want it. But when I look at society and how they push it towards you so much, it's like, if I'm going to be part of it, I want the best, the biggest, the nicest, you know what I'm saying? So.
Oh, and I get that. Auntie made a comment.
That's good. Well, pockets feeling fat already.
Interracial dating. She said, if you don't go to the other side, you better get the cream of the crop. Don't come over here and get the stragglers. And I said, yo, that's real. I feel that. So I get what you're saying. But let me ask you this, Maya. So in terms of equality and equal, would you be okay and comfortable proposing to your significant other?
Well, I think that the reason I'm not comfortable with it is because I'm still not comfortable with the idea of marriage. So I might not be, like, the best person to ask. Like, because even if I was a guy, I'm like, oh,
all the way in left field.
Hold on, hit her.
All the way in left field,
We got to flag on the play. You can't be trying to drown in the ocean with your rock, but we don't get no rocks so we can drown. I want to drown.
No, but I'm saying, like, I don't see this in my future anyway. But it's just like when I think about it, I which I think
that you don't believe in marriage, or you don't see yourself getting married.
Oh, like, if you guys want to do it, I'm all for it. It's a right.
No, I'm just asking you yourself. I'm just asking
your personal liberties. I have no problems with them, but whether or not I want to take.
I think she just answered your question right there.
I'm just wondering. Okay, so you don't believe in marriage.
I think she just answered your question right there.
I didn't say I don't believe in it. I believe it. I see it every day. Like, my parents have been married for 33 years. Whether or not I believe that I'm going to get married or whether that's even something that I want is a whole nother story. Do I believe that two people can meet each other and be happy and content? Yeah, why they would do that, I don't understand. So that's just kind of like where I am.
Player, bro.
You what?
You're a true player.
No, I'm really not.
You just said, why two people get happy and stay together forever? I don't know.
I don't know. It almost seems like, okay, here's the reason.
I'm the player. I just curse a lot.
Like,
some people do it.
When I was, like, little. Yeah, and some people do it. But, like, I was out at dinner. We were at a family dinner. We saw this, like, this old couple. And they were just looking at each other across the table. And I was just like, you know what? I feel like at a certain point I would just got up and be like, you know, this last, like, 50 years has been real. But I really have got to go. Because, like, if that's what we're... I just, like, I can't do that. That's just not me.
Like,
all I'm going to say is
we have a lot of people.
50 years, you just throw it all away. All right, we done.
No,
everybody else would call that a Disney movie, a happy ending or something. She like, yeah,
I met John.
I got a whole nother adventure to go on by myself.
I don't know. But
she met another guy that don't wear diapers. He good, so she's gonna go get with him. You know what I'm saying?
She'd have met old man Jenkins at bingo.
As far as people that you're compatible with, they say that in your lifetime you'll meet the average person meets between 7 and 12 people in which they're mutually compatible with, right?
I agree with that.
So why would I have that one? And you I guess that sounds bad.
I'm trying to hit all 7 of mine.
I'm a believer. I got 12. I'm trying to be on the high end.
Sounds like she needs to be on the Bachelorette.
Yo, Maya, would you ever try to be the first black Bachelorette? I mean, you light skin, so they might,
I would not.
There hasn't been a black Bachelorette yet.
Heck no.
I don't watch the show, so I wouldn't know.
Has there been a black Bachelor?
It's on ABC. Ain't been no black Bachelor or Bachelorette.
Nah, neither one of them though.
I'm sure there's been black contestants.
No, contestants, but not like the.
They always have one token at the beginning of the season who always gets voted off.
Even a token.
That's like the black guy dying in the Scary Movie in the first scene.
Oh well, the black man usually stays around a lot longer than the black woman. Like the black woman is usually gone. Like, dude, send her back here real.
Speaking of which, all black people in movies. I just watched the Star Wars movie the other day, and I was so happy the black guy actually not only made it through the whole movie, but he had a significant role in the movie. And I was watching it with my mom. I said, "Yo, this is the first time I've ever seen that." Because I thought he was gonna get killed off a couple of times.
I mean, Lando made it through.
But
you said Star Wars.
Lando made it through the original trilogy.
Then Samuel Jackson was in one of the Star Wars. Didn't he make it through?
Nah, he
died.
That wasn't a good example.
I'm asking a question. I never watched it.
He didn't die. Master Wu didn't die until
he didn't quite make it. He didn't quite make it all the way.
He went on a rampage. He was killing everybody, including the younglings. So no one was making it.
So, we didn't get your perspective on this topic. Go ahead, brother.
Who?
Talking to you, Jamie. You?
Oh, me? Oh, okay. I don't know. I think actually, as much as I hate to say it, like what David said made a whole lot of sense.
Okay, wait, can we backtrack really quick? What did David say? That's when my internet.
Yeah. I was about to like halfway recap.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I think like it's only like a symbolic step almost towards equality. It's not like a real step towards equality. Because anytime women,
equity,
huh?
We all should strive for not equality but equity. That's what we need.
Okay, yeah, fair point.
I want to hear you elaborate on this in a second.
Hold on, wait. Let him finish.
But yeah, I think it's more like a symbolic step than like an actual step towards equity. Excuse me, because a lot of times when women step into these roles, it's not like they're being seen as like a strong, powerful, whatever woman. It's almost like they're taking on these masculine tendencies and characteristics, and that's what's making them like. Even if you think about like Hillary, like she's almost defeminized in a whole lot of ways. I don't know if that's a real word, but
makes sense.
What's gonna be a word today? Because I'm the moderator.
It will be today.
Because I'm the moderator. But it's almost like they're stripping her of a lot of her. I feel so empowered right now.
When you get finished, I want to ask you this one question, Jamie.
Okay, but it's almost like they're stripping whenever women come into these like they're the protagonists or they have the limelight or they're coming into these leadership roles or whatever. It's almost like they're being stripped of their feminine qualities and feminine characteristics, and they have to take on these like masculine like things, if that makes sense.
But they don't have. I think society makes it seem like. I don't think that when I look at Hillary, I don't look at her as a masculine individual. I look at Trump, who's trying to make her seem like a masculine individual.
I mean, I'm not
that is a mother, a grandmother. That is. I don't see like a man.
I mean, I saw the convention too. Like a lot of these qualities didn't come to light until Kelsey spoke and until whoever the other one was who highlighted everything about it. So, I mean, like.
Can I add this one singular point in? So to what you're saying, James, what I see in Hillary in terms of the lack of femininity is the same I also saw when it came to Obama, right? Because she is a woman. I hear her speak about women's issues less so that people don't think she's jaded or biased to only have the same when Barack came up. rather than him, you know, being a strong brother, go to other issues and less on those issues.
She does play some of the feminine issues. Her biggest saying is, if I'm playing the woman card, deal me in. And like literally, legitimately, she said it multiple times that we know it. Like,
I've never heard that saying ever. Like, and I mean, I'm
just not watched the Democratic Convention, her debates, any of the.
I'm just saying, I know that. I'm not saying she's not having women point. I'm just saying that's the focal point of her campaign.
Right.
His focal point of his campaign would be like a Black Power, you know, type move. So that's what I'm saying. So I get what you're saying, James, in terms of toning down certain things to make sure that, I'm just gonna win the woman. Yeah.
Yeah, and even like the same thing like pop culture. Like you look at movies and everything. Anytime there's a female protagonist or whatever, like. There always still has to be like a male supporting character to like make it well rounded. She still has like a low
skills. Like she can't be a mom and then running a Fortune 500 company, because there's a Wall Street that just came out and tons of articles talking about the truth about women being on Wall Street. And you have to have, you know, work-life balance doesn't exist. You can't have a family, etc. So no, you're definitely say going back to Lady Macbeth. I mean, same thing. It's these characters have to just be so. They have to be so extreme.
The Wonder Woman movie. The Wonder Woman movie that's about to come out. Chris Pratt, or whatever. Is it Chris Pratt or? I think it's Chris Pratt. Yeah, Chris Pratt or Chris Pike, whichever one. But
something like that. One of them, Chris.
That was the one. There's too many of them. Chris Evans, all of them.
He's the same one who's in Star Trek, right?
Yeah, so that guy. But yeah, in the previews, like I went to go see a movie the other day. And for the Wonder Woman movie, she's like the main character. In the previews, Chris Pine had just as much face time as she did. So like, I
remember because I saw the thing as well. I thought the trailer was whack, but I didn't.
The trailer started off with him washing up in the shore. Like it didn't even.
Yeah. But she was running the show in that movie though, because like when she made the comment about the secretary.
But he's saying though, like. It's even though she's running the show, every time she's in an authority situation, Chris Pine is right there, right there with her.
But again, I have see the film the other day. I mean, I see that in a lot of films. Like it's give and take, right? I mean, that's in cinema. There is some of that to a degree. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
And that's kind of the same thing what I see like in the women proposing to the men. Like they're being semi-stripped of their femininity because they're stepping into these quote unquote male roles.
But why is that happening? I guess that's what I'm getting at.
No, that's my point. Like, I'm not saying.
So what about this? Because you saying that, but most people saying that the men are being stripped of their masculinity because they let the women pose to them.
Preach.
That was the other side of David's point.
I'm just saying that's what the majority of people are saying around.
Yeah, that's
the other side of David's point. Like,
I didn't get the chance to ask you my question that I wanted to ask you.
Oh, my fault. Go ahead.
Knowing that I know you so well. So the fact that if
let's not get personal. I'm not
getting personal, but I'm about to ask you a question though.
Let's not get personal.
So knowing that I know you so well, that the fact that if a woman was to propose to you and your mom was approve of this, and she says, "Hey, JB, you know she's a nice woman. You should definitely marry her."
Mom into
Just listen to what I'm saying, though. Now, if that was to happen, and the girl proposed to you, would you do it, or would you say, "Nah, because I didn't make the first step, I'm not gonna go through with it"?
Me personally. If it was me, honestly, it probably wouldn't get to that point. I'm like Kodog. If I like truly, authentically, and genuinely had an interest on a girl,
I said that.
No, that's what I said. I said Kodog. Yeah, like if it got to that point, me and old girl would have talked about it at this point, and we would have had some kind of understanding. Like, okay, like you're ready, I'm ready. All right, let's make it happen. It at least would have been a mutual decision. It would have been like, oh, she just pops up on me at like a family reunion, like, yo, like let's get married.
And I think that's
a recipe for disaster. That's a recipe for disaster. You're gonna get.
Well, you gonna say no? You gonna say no? You gonna say no?
Sweetheart.
Are you gonna say no?
Sweetheart, let's go talk in the foyer one time.
Like you guys should have talked about it. I wasn't here for that, but like that's another thing. I don't think any proposal, whether it's man, woman, whoever you were proposing to, I think that you should have had a conversation about it. I don't think that
several conversations.
Absolute shock.
Y'all better make sure y'all on the same page, because somebody get y'all see my man Joe Budden? Let Joe Budden be a lesson to y'all.
But you guys what do you feel about like, these public engagements that people are having? Like, I feel like that seems very extreme, very like people are like doing dances. I feel like it seems to me it should be an intimate moment between two people. Like, I don't know how I feel, and hopefully if like this ever came to this, I did find that guy when we wanted to get married.
Yeah.
Hopefully he would know me well enough to be like, no, we're not gonna like write this in the sky or like have it at the middle of like a basketball game or something like that. Like,
I was about to say, if he puts you on the jumbotron at a Clippers game,
hold
front
on.
row.
I gotta piggyback on mine.
No, but and it's almost like that's pressuring it. Like, how do you say no to that? So do I say yes, have you happy, and at the end of the game be like, just kidding? Like, I can't have you out
after y'all go
there,
home,
like,
that's a recipe for
and that's why
disaster.
you
Like,
need to
y'all
have
gotta
this
be on the same
conversation.
page. Yeah.
Hold on, and let me piggyback
You
what you're
have
saying,
to have
Maya,
this
because I'm 110% agreeing with what Maya's saying. Because me personally, so I tell this to any girl I've ever dated on a serious level. This is my relationship. This is your relationship. This is our relationship. Not your mama's, not your friends, not your cousin, or anybody else. What we do and talk about here, that's our thing. So whenever I propose to a woman, I'm sure I'll ask her father, you know, for her hand, and I'll let those people know. But when
Okay,
we
why do you feel
have
like you
our,
stuck with
when I,
that? Father's name.
because that's what I want to do. That's a sign of respect. That's just how I am. But what I'm saying is that when I propose to her, it's going to be me and her. It's not going to be like you said.
It's possessive. So your father, I'm gonna go to him and make sure.
Offer
Can I
a
have
dowry
her?
and everything.
Somebody what I
Like,
deem to be.
Are you gonna send him a goat too? Like, I
You
just
gonna
don't
offer a whole dowry?
No, they gonna be riding in the car. They gonna be like, "You trying to marry me or what?"
Yeah.
Yes or no? Hey, man, so go ahead.
He ain't got no ring or nothing. He's just gonna ask the question. He's gonna go get the ring later.
There ain't even gonna be no question. Like, hey yo, you get married.
And I'm gonna say, what you doing?
We about to get
Thursday?
Regular.
We about to get married.
Either go marry me or get out the
4 months from now.
Hey,
car.
sweetheart.
That's basically what it's gonna be.
Hey, sweetheart, what you doing for the next 50 years?
Like, all right.
Anyways, forget all y'all. So, Maya, can you explain this concept of not having equality but having equity? Can you explain what you mean by that?
Okay, so equality means like giving us all the same thing. So let's say, okay, so I think like a good example would be LA's Unified School District is messed up. Okay, I think that we nationally kind of like know this. But certain schools have better facilities than others. So let's say what they did for one school is that like they made it brand new, gave them absolute great facilities, as though that was going to put them on the equal playing field as another like Beverly Hills High that has better funding and stuff like that. Equity would have given these kids like not only the facilities but the same sort of teachers and stuff, so they could be on the same playing field. So like sometimes I guess when I think of equity, I'm not sure if you've ever seen like this picture, but there's like this meme out, and they give this short guy and this tall guy a box to stand on, and when they give them both the same box, the tall guy can see over the fence, the little one can't. So when they gave them different size boxes, it made them the same height. That was equity. It put them on the same playing field.
Right,
I've seen that picture before.
So it's putting us all at the same starting line. Like, well, not even at the same starting line. Like, if we know that your home life is better than, like, and I think of this when it comes to education a lot, but like, if I know your home life is better, and when you get home, you're going to have people help you with your homework, someone that help you out and get you the things that you need. Maybe you're at the 100, you start at the 100 and somebody starts at the 50. Like, I don't know, but it's whatever is needed so that you guys have the same opportunity to finish at the same place.
Okay, so in the context of a marriage or a relationship between a man and a woman, where do you see us trying to have more equality versus having equity?
When it comes to the double shift, here's the thing. So women wanted to work outside of the house, but I'm an honest believer. If they had known that when they entered the workplace, that they still were going to be responsible for everything that happened at home, they wouldn't have been in such a rush. So it's like, yeah, you have equality. You can work out the house. But guess what? You're going to have a double shift, because when you get home, guess what? All the domestic chores that you were already doing, those are still yours to do. And so, like, yeah, it's equal in the sense that now we both can be outside the house, but it's just like I still have more to do. I don't get to come home and stop my day. And I know that's very stereotypical, but when I think of it, like, my mom's a progressive woman, and I think that my dad did a really good job of trying to help her with some of those things. But still, the majority, even though she owned her own practice, she's a dentist, she owned her own practice, she was working crazy hours, most of the domestic stuff was put on her to do. And so I think that if we're going to have true equity, it has to be a 50-50 split. Or it has to at least be where at least we can go to bed at the same time. My mom's not up until God knows when trying to get the house right, when she worked the same amount of hours as my dad did. So, like, in the marriage.
So when you asked what my original point was, what I said, that's one thing that I said. I said that we're seeing more women going to the workplace, but we don't see that same level of increase in fathers staying home, right? Like, there's not a balance in that. And I 100% agree with what you're saying. Like, you still have to do.
I don't think anyone needs to stay home, though.
No, I'm just saying we're not seeing domestic duties being offset by male. And I think it goes back to Mario's point that he made was that in our society, we speak a lot about women in this context, but in our society, when we see men do opposite of what our society perceives them to do, we consider them weak. Like you said, for a man to let a woman propose to him, we would call him weak. We would clown him. For a man to say, I'm going to work less hours so I can take my kids to soccer practice and be a soccer dad, drive a minivan, we would call him weak. Like, they don't make commercials about being a soccer dad. Right? They're not marketing cars.
I think society is changing, and a lot of it is regional. Because I will tell you this: when I came to Texas, I was surprised at how much of hyper masculinity was out there. So no, and it's so true. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, even out here, like, we have gender roles, but you guys have, like, down in the South, it was very strict gender roles.
There's no y'all. There's only 2 niggas on this podcast.
Okay, well, down in the South, and that's why I changed it. My time in the South.
You still in the South? What you talking about?
Okay.
We ain't no down south niggas, but go ahead.
Okay.
Back up north.
You said y'all.
So let's just say middle America, because my people are from the Midwest, and I see this also. So even when I go see my family in St. Louis, there are more defined gender roles. I remember when I was playing and as a little girl, and I was, like, climbing trees and stuff like that. My aunts were like, why are you doing that? Like, that's what little boys do. But I was like, but I want to play too. Like, you know, and my mom never saw a problem with it, because it's just like, out here we were all just whatever it is you did. My parents bought me Barbies and trucks. You know, it was just kind of like, what did you want to play with that time? No one ever questioned what I wanted to do. If I wanted an action figure, you're like, all right. If I wanted a Furby or a baby doll that day, that was just how it was. And so it was kind of, I feel like there's less of a defined line. And so out here, I do see more men who are, like, fathers. I see them with their kids a lot more. I see them picking their kids up from school. Actually, you know, I have a friend, her dad was a stay-at-home father. He worked from home, he did stuff, but he wasn't working the traditional 40-hour week like her mother was doing. And it worked out for them. I didn't look at him and feel like he was any less of a man, especially because I got to go home with them and they had food and stuff. Both my parents worked. So it was just like, I got to go home. We have afternoon snacks and all that other stuff. Like, I thought that was really cool. And I didn't think of him growing up being any less of a man because of it. So I think
okay.
Yeah.
That actually brought, like, another question to mind, since you were talking about how, like, since all of us, I guess, we're talking about, like, gender roles and stereotypes as far as adults are concerned. But you brought up an interesting point about how you got to play with Barbie dolls and with trucks, and you got to play with this and with that. So do you think that, I guess, age and being able to, like, kind of come to your own conclusions and, like, I guess, consent, you think that should have something to do with it too? Because nowadays there's, like, a little bit of a trend, I guess, with parents dressing up their little boys in dresses and stuff like that.
Really
parents dressing up. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like this androgyny thing going on, but it's just like whatever your kid, and I think, and this is something too, because, like, I think it's 1 in every 1,000 kids is kind of born where they just don't have a sexuality yet, and it's not until they hit puberty that they actually know whether they're male or female. And back in the day, what they used to do is just make them all boys. And so that's when you would have, like, little boys being like, oh, but I've always felt like a little girl, like, kind of thing, or identified more with the spectrum. And I think that just like I feel sexuality is kind of like a fluid. It's not like some people can really define as just heterosexual or just like gay, lesbian, or whatever it is. I think there's just all these shades of gray, and a lot of things are fluid. That's the same way I feel about masculinity and femininity. There's some characteristics that I have that are very feminine, but I have some characteristics that are masculine, but I don't feel any less of a woman because of it. So it just kind of depends. But as you grow older, I do feel like you're able to define. But the idea that my parents gave me blocks and things like this, or like I was doing things with science, and that's a lot of things. A lot of my friends that were girls did not have that, and it kind of helped shape me in some ways. Like when I first got to TCU, I was taking a whole bunch of biology classes, I think, stuff like that. And I think that started because my mom pushed. And I'm actually really sad for them because I think that we would have an aptitude in, they say that boys have an aptitude more for math and science. And I think that maybe it's just they're pushed at it at an earlier age than girls are. So a lot of things do with you growing up, the things that you have affected you as a child, and as you grow up, it molds you.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
True.
So that's true, James. Hold on, hey James. If your son comes to Mario, this you too. If your son comes to you and says, "Yo, Dad, I want to be a cheerleader. I don't want to be on the basketball team," how would you take that?
If you want to be a cheerleader, if he holding the girls up in the air, I'm be like, shit, there you go. Look though.
You're progressive. At least you're open-minded to this idea.
Hey, okay, listen though. No, it's real though. I was thinking about what Maya was saying earlier about her, playing with trucks and playing with dolls and all that stuff. Like, by me being the only child, like, I always had to go hang out with my cousins for me to go, have somebody to play with. And most of the time, I always go hang with my girl cousin. Her and her brother, they like the same age, so we all go hang with her. So she was the only girl, we had to play with her. So we played with dolls because, to pretty much satisfy her because she had to play, we the only people for her to play with. So I'm like, the thing is, I feel like, because I play with dolls, that made me less of a boy. No, not really. But at the same time, it's just like I feel like it's that double standard comes in play because if a boy plays with dolls, it's like, oh, it's be gay, this and that. Well, but a girl can play with action figures, trucks, and all this other extra stuff that's supposed to be male stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, it's okay,
Yeah, she's just a tomboy. It's just a
phase. It's just a phase. Like, it's cool. But if a dude do it, it's like he must be gay. He don't like his daddy gonna wanna try to start making him do a whole bunch of male stuff because he don't want his son to be gay.
And what is male stuff? Like, I guess I just don't
listen. Like, that's just what I'm saying. I'm not really defining nothing as a
traditional, stereotypical male stuff.
Yeah, I was say I'm not defining nothing as a male.
Go out some dirt on it. Like, is that what you like? I'm confused.
Go out.
Is that what your parents told you? Is that what your parents told you?
No, but I just don't understand.
Is that some of those like down home remedies that y'all got in California, rubbing dirt on everything?
Dirt on it.
But it's just like it's weird though, you know what I'm saying? That it's like that because it's only so much stuff that we can do for us to be able to, if everybody can look at us and say, oh, you still a man though, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even nowadays, if you dance a certain way,
you got a Y chromosome
or whatever.
Do you have a Y chromosome? It seems to me you're male. Like, I just it was that easy for me. Like, I have X chromosome. I don't have no Y.
Jamie,
let's just take a very biological standpoint here.
I mean,
can your son
be what it is, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, to be completely honest with you, I would like to think that as long as he came up with he made up his own mind, basically. Like, if you reach that conclusion on your own, I like to think that as long as he came to his own conclusion and that's what you really want to do, that's what your heart is set on, then bet, go do that. Like, go do what makes you happy. That's what I like to think that I would. I'm not gonna lie. I might struggle with it a little bit. To be completely honest, I might struggle with it a little bit. But if
Wait,
that's
wait,
what he
wait.
really
First
wants to
of
do,
all, wait. Let me ask this question first. Let me ask this question because this might change the whole situation.
okay.
How old are we talking?
10.
Like how 10 years old?
10,
That
12.
mean what? That's what you. So you still in elementary school?
They're going into middle school. Let's say 13. Say 13.
I mean, honestly, as far as I'm
13. You
concerned,
in middle school.
yeah, like as far as I'm concerned,
First
like,
of all, I'm going to ask him, is there any other sports that you can think of that you can take part in besides shooting?
Don't do him that way.
Have you tried football?
No, listen, I'm not even finished.
You both
I'm
opposite
going to ask
from
this
it.
question first.
Where you can take
So listen.
Have you
And if he
tried
says
fencing?
no,
Then
rugby.
no,
listen,
You know what I mean? Throw him in
there
rugby.
I'm saying y'all got a
guys
chess
but you
club
know
or
what
something
they
at
do?
school?
They-
Math team.
They hold the
They
girls
got
and
a
they look
spelling
up.
bee.
You know what I'm saying? Though.
Y'all so rude.
We know guys in college that was cheerleaders, and what they do, they held the girls to make sure they don't fall and other things besides that. And you know, they made a successful career out of it. Didn't mean they was gay, but you know, it is what it is. So you can always do that. But if you talk about holding pom-poms and cheering and wearing a skirt, no, I can't get down with that. No sir, no sir. If it got to be like that, we ain't playing no sports. You just go do your schoolwork and come to the crib. We'll figure something else for you to do.
I'm gonna deprive my child of all extracurricular activities. That's horrible, Rio.
Punishment.
You on punishment till you figure out what the hell you want to do besides be a cheerleader. No, I'm just.
Maya, so what if your son wanted to? If you do you want to have kids? I don't even know if you want to have kids.
Maya not having no kids.
I mean, that's not the plan, but you know, I like to be as a parent though. Real talk, like I don't think I'd have a problem with it, and I think it's a lot to do with the way that I was raised and the kind of schools I went to. Like at New Roads, anything went, like legitimately anything went. There was a kid, he came in a costume every day, like, you know, so that was strange to me. So might as well have come in a dress, like you might as well have done that, like. And there were people who did things like that, and I don't see an issue with it. Like, you are who you are, and I never want anyone to hide that. I don't. As long as you are not, and I think I've like talked about it, I don't really have a problem with what you do, just as long as you're not like going on a killing spree, you know, killing villages of folks. Like, if you're not doing that and you're not harming anyone physically, like, because when people talk about like, oh, well, I had to see it, well, you could close your eyes. I mean, that's all I could really think of. So like,
against conformity in any context or construct, essentially.
Yeah, like it doesn't bother me.
Level of uniformity. That's what you're saying.
Huh?
You're against like basically any level of uniformity in any.
No, I didn't say that either.
Wait.
Uniformity doesn't bother me.
That's what
it's not affecting me.
She's just pro individuality.
And like you want to have a uniform that you wear. You want to be stereotypical, and you want to whatever it is you want to do. I'm cool with it. Just as long as you aren't like one pushing it on other people. That's another thing. So like if you want to do what is out of the ordinary, that's great. If you want to do what's of the ordinary, that's great. But don't push that on other folks. Do you? So if my kid came to me and said, "Mommy, I want to be a cheerleader," I'd be like, "What you need so we can have the tryout?" Like, you could be at the tryout. Like, I don't even think I would question it. Like, if my daughter came and was like, "Mom, I want to try out for football," I'd be like, "All right, what do you need?" And that's just kind of how it is.
And that got to go back to what I was saying. That kind of go back to what I was saying earlier. That if a girl played football, it wouldn't even seem that bad because I mean they do have women football teams. That's the thing. It's like it's always a double standard to everything.
Okay.
So they got women's football teams. Women play basketball.
They're wearing bikinis.
But no, listen.
And they're playing don't act like there's actual
but
like.
Playing football though. But they playing football.
I'm pretty sure they're like actual football leagues too.
Listen though. I mean, they're playing football. That's the purpose. What I'm saying is they play the same sports that males play, but then
that's not the purpose of that.
But that's
I'm not even talking about like I'm not even talking about like the lingerie leagues or whatever. I'm pretty sure they're like actual
but they play
amateur. Yeah.
They play the same sports men play. That's what I'm trying to say. And so it's like, but it's some things that if men do it, then it don't look right. Right? Okay, you like
why doesn't
being
it
a
look
cheerleader
right?
for once. I'm not saying I don't say it's not looking right. I'm talking about society. One point of another, I really don't care because
just like you said, we saw at TCU a whole bunch of male cheerleaders. You see that at every school, and it's just like it is what it is.
I know some of them too, and I never questioned they. I never questioned them.
One of your frat brothers,
all right, whatever.
So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I never questioned the fact that because that's what he did, but I'm like, okay, that's what he do. So leave it at that. I don't really care to tell you the truth or whatever, because it is what it is
or whatever.
I feel like
it's gonna be what it's gonna be.
Like, because it doesn't matter in life, and I feel like this is like an honest and you've been talked about, ridiculed, and it could be for something. Guess what? It's going to happen to kids too. And so I just think that everybody just needs to try to develop a tough skin. So whether your kid is getting ridiculed because he wants to be a cheerleader or because he's too tall, you can't win with society. So you might as well just do what the hell you want to do. And that's what I honestly.
Been there, done that. So
I
already know.
It's another.
But it's always gonna be something. And it's the fact that I look like I accept everybody for who they are, what they do, regardless of the fact. Now, if I don't agree with what you do, and that's not even talking about on your sexuality or whatever else you decide, just anything. Period. If I don't agree with what you do, as long as you don't push that on me, like you said earlier, as long as you're not trying to push that on me, I don't even give a damn. We still can be cool. Don't matter to me. That's how it go. So my uncle, okay, he finally found out his son was gay or whatever, but
you have to say
after he was already.
He did.
Because I was trying to figure out how I was gonna word this, but I just said it that way. But anyway, I was about to say it another way. But anyway, he found out or whatever. But just after his son was already a grown man, though, you know what I'm saying? So it's like at that point he was just kind of disappointed, like, damn, like this is my only son, like how do I cope with this? You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's like
you're to cope with. That's still your son.
Because he's old fashioned. He feels like he shouldn't be that way. It's his only son. He wanted his son to be like him in X, Y, and Z.
Okay, well, that's not what
his son like him, but just he like something else. But he just like him. But anyways, he just had to figure it out. Like, look, this is the way it's gonna be, and I just gotta just accept it after all that. And I think at the end of the day, like any of us, if we ever had kids and it turned out to be that way, then we just gonna have to accept it at the end of the day. Now, with that being said, because we all male on here, and you talking about what if your son? Now, what if your daughter turned out to liking females? Now, how would you feel about that?
The same way I feel about all of these things.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about these fools right here.
I was like.
Code and David.
You changing up the scenario. She said she want to be with a law. Are you sure? Like you just like.
No, what I'm saying is the reason why I brought that up because look at it this way. So like if a man when he got his son and if his son lost his virginity, he's gonna be like, oh, that's my boy. He's gonna be dapping him up, like ask him how was it. But if his daughter did it, then he's gonna be like.
That depends on your father-son relationship.
Okay, listen. Wait. Let me finish though. I'm speaking from who on this. I'm talking about who on this conversation right now. I'm talking about who on this conversation right now because I know them, so I know how it's gonna turn out. But if it's your daughter, then you're gonna be like, what? You ain't gonna feel the same way. So what I'm saying is that it's always that double standard. So if your daughter came out to be,
it's not always the double standard.
How would you feel about that?
That with these people in this conversation. Like, growing up in a
you must don't know them as well as I do. You must don't know as well as I do then. I'm not talking about you.
No, and I'm just saying, and it might be right with you and the people who are here on this conversation. But growing up in the Pentecostal church, I'm going to let you know. Fornicating was fornicating no matter who was doing it, okay?
Well, I never experienced that problem because I was the only child. And my mama, I don't know if she knew or not. I don't know if she still know now, but just know that so it didn't really matter. But I'm sure she do. She know what time it is.
Okay. I got lost for a minute.
Well, Rio, man.
Look though. Like I know for David for sure.
He about to put you out there.
I'm just saying. Because it was his son. Because we already talked about this already before. How he gonna put his son up for a game and all this other extra stuff. Right? Okay? But if it was his daughter, he gonna put up her own game too, but it's gonna be the same game, but in a whole other total different situation though. In a whole different conversation.
But I think the conversation is different. But no. And I agree with what you're saying, Marlo. Yes, I'm going to approach it the same, but the conversation I have with my son versus I have with my daughter wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, because it's gonna be different.
In my opinion, men and women's approach to sex is a different approach. That's why it would be that way.
Right.
And what is our approach to sex, and how does it differ? I'm very curious.
From my perspective, the men and women's approach to sex is different is because if my son had sex, from a societal perspective, the worst thing that could happen to him is he could catch a disease, right? From my daughter's perspective, the worst thing that can happen to her is she could catch a disease, but she could also get pregnant. And there's other.
Wait, why is that not the worst thing that could happen to your son? That he could be a father? Okay, please let's analyze.
No. I already got what he was saying though. When he said,
let me know. So him getting the disease is well. But him producing a son or.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is from a physical perspective, she's going to have to deal with that differently than he's going to have to deal with impregnating somebody. He's not going to have the same physical ramifications. That's all that I'm saying. And that's a fact. Like men and women were not the same physically, obviously. If my daughter's impregnated, she has to go through, that whole process of being pregnant for 9 months. My son would have to support whatever woman he got pregnant, but he's not going through 9 months of labor pains. 9 months, that's what I'm saying. So that approach is different. And that's why I said I would approach the conversation differently. I would approach the conversation the same, but it's not the same conversation. That's all that I'm saying.
Never mind. I ain't gonna say nothing.
That's long.
Never mind. Go ahead. I ain't gonna say nothing.
I have like a million things to say. Like, I just don't.
So
go ahead.
I'm gonna go ahead. So look though. Back to what we said. I get what you're saying, all that, because I feel that. What I was originally saying about how you feel about your daughter being in, but just peep this game though. So, are you thinking about this way? When men see two women kissing and doing all this extra stuff, they like, yeah.
Yeah, because you sexualize it.
I knew he was gonna end up here.
I'm just listen though. It goes with it, does it not? I ain't just pull this out my ass out of nowhere just to bring it up. I'm just saying though. But it is what it is though. And that's what happens. And dudes be like, damn.
I mean,
listen.
It's different, but to be fair, it's different seeing like two other girls. No, I feel you. I understand what you're talking about. But it's different seeing like two other girls kiss. No, I understand. But it's different seeing two other girls kissing than seeing like your daughter and another chick kissing or whatever. Like that's like a sexual context, and hopefully that goes with is in a sexual context.
But that goes with it though. So what I'm saying is that most of the time it's a little bit from what I've seen so far, it's a little bit more acceptable to the fact that if a man be like, oh well, that's what my daughter is, it is. But when a man see his son like that, because when he see his son, he trying to instill the values that he has within himself into his son to be something like him. So when you see your son,
so what's the value to be a bitch like me? Like
don't ask questions because I'm generalizing all this. Everything is a generalization.
I wanted to raise a bigot, so I did.
I'm just putting it out there. Don't take it personal. I'm putting it out there. So look, that's all I'm saying. Is it not true? Is it not?
For the man that I married, if I procreated, to the values that I would want to instill in my child are tolerance, acceptance, things of that nature. Those things.
How many men? Okay.
How many men what?
Nothing. Go ahead.
I want to know how many men what.
Nothing. It's all good.
It's
all good.
How many men did that?
Round one, fight.
Please elaborate. Say it with your chest. Since we're talking about masculinity, let's go.
I always say it with my chest. Don't worry about that. Other things too. But anyway, so look, most men they want to feel like they masculine, like they the ones who run everything, whether it's not their household or they run the world, their world around them.
Letting you believe that. I'm all for letting you believe that you run men. Okay, I'm 100% believing that.
When they come and they see their son is acting like a female, they're gonna feel crushed by it.
No, that has nothing to do with that though. You can be a female and still running stuff. So I guess in my mind, like I don't understand.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I am not saying that at all because I'm all for women empowerment. But what I'm saying is that most men, they want to see that masculinity in their son like they see in themselves. Unless they daddy is a punk too, then he ain't gonna give a damn.
Okay, so you're a punk. So that gets to the root of this. You are a punk if you're not masculine. So we now know where Rio feels. We let him talk himself in the circle.
No. Listen,
what he really feels.
You can't take this. It's not about what I feel. It's about what I'm just putting out there.
I feel like you're a witness on the
witness. If you knew more things, and the more things I experienced and seen, you wouldn't be saying that. But at the same time, that's not for neither here or there. We'll talk about that later.
I knew we're not condemning people's perspectives. I'm very curious.
Hold on, Mike. Hold on. You talking about
what?
Tolerance and acceptance.
You said what?
You and accept Mario's opinion. That's how you feel. That's how you feel.
I don't have to accept the opinion that he believes is a punk.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not about
tolerating. I don't jump through the camera.
Listen, everything I say is not how I. Everything is not what I say. Everything what I say is not about how I feel. It's just what I just see and perceive of what's going on. Nothing I say here is what I feel.
So we're not getting your true perspective.
Is it about my perspective? I mean, is it really about my perspective, or I'm just speaking logically?
I think that was your perspective. I'm not sure if there was a whole bunch of logic.
That was not my
perspective. But to be fair, those are like very real like thoughts and feelings. And
okay, that's what I'm saying.
As far as a lot of people. No, yeah, I got you though. I got you. Especially like.
There are a lot of people who feel that way.
Okay. But all right.
We have to talk you in the circles before we got to the.
I'm just saying.
No.
You try to take it as that was my personal feeling, but that's not.
No.
Nah, he's bringing very real points of views to the table. Especially like
and that's all
a vast majority of like the black male community, like as far as a lot of my interactions go with them, like that's very real feelings. These are very real thoughts that happen. Like it's not just like, oh, we can all be tolerant, we can all be accepting, like whatever. Like
I think we should strive, but I think that's. I know that. What I grew up with black. I just told you I grew up in the Pensacola.
Yes.
We're going to change, even though we're in Los Angeles, in a very progressive city. And he's not budging. City. So like I get what you
states. You got. It all comes from everybody. It all stems from where you're growing up from. Okay. Now I grew up in a society that none of that stuff is acceptable. But do I accept it? Yes. I have different point of views if somebody that I grew up with, or if I go back home and I talk about this, they're going to look at me like I'm crazy. Like, what? And they're going to question me. But I'm going to be like, listen, it is what it is. Like,
but you know what that is, though? I'll tell you what it is. Obviously, we grew up in the same place. You know what? Honestly, what it is not that you have different views or perspectives than those people. It's the fact that you were exposed to other perspectives, and the people that you're talking to haven't been exposed to those things. Because even
different life experiences,
I don't necessarily like it. But coming here saved my life. Coming here actually did a lot for me. And so, but I would have never gotten that perspective or got things I got had I not moved here. You see what I'm saying? So that's what it is those people have never changed their surroundings. Because I hear what you're saying, Maya, that you're in LA, it's a progressive city. But if you go to Watson, you go to Compton, what you're saying, people in that same city. So LA County, but even I'm sure there's neighborhoods in Los Angeles that don't feel the same way that you feel about stuff. So I'm saying it's about people
I know that I'm strictly different from a lot of folks. I don't want you to put out. I live in the black
LA is a progressive city. It's like no, everyone's still the way in that city. It's just that, like you said, when you had the exposure, like you said, leaving and coming to Texas, you were able, okay, now I see gender roles more defined here than I did when I was growing up. But you would have never had that perspective had you have never came to Texas. So, and again, that's actually the real reason why I want to redo this podcast is because we all are people who have not only have our perspective and how we grew up in the Pentecostal church or in these different areas and arenas, but we expose ourselves to other perspectives as we continue to grow as young professionals, and that perspective and including other perspectives and how we form our opinions in life needs to be shared because so many people never get that. Like there was an article, and I sent it to you guys. Like I think I sent it to you. See, I don't know if I did or not. That the average American lives within 12 miles of where they grew up, and then when it talked about women, the average woman lives within a 12-mile radius of their mile. So people never get out in America and have these perspectives. So that's why in this particular time that we're in, where we're having a presidential election, this is why people feel the way they feel about stuff. Because they've never seen or heard anything different. You know, Michigan always votes Democratic in national presidential elections. Well, I live in Texas now, which is a state that does the complete opposite of that. That adds to my perspective and my opinion. Most people never leave that thought process, ever, whether you're in a progressive state or you're in a not progressive state. So that's the problem that we have as Americans is because no one gets perspective and no one wants to get that perspective. People want to stay what's comfortable to them, what they know, what they've been around. And if your ideas and ideology doesn't add up to mine, I don't want to be around you. And people say what they want to say, especially Colton, especially Mario. But that's the reason why I like having a relationship that I have with Jamie. Because no, we don't agree on 90% of things that we talk about. But at the end of the day, that helps make us better as men. That we have different perspectives, but we can still respect one another and still kick it. Versus, well, he don't like what I like, so bye. You see what I'm saying? That's the problem with a lot of people in the world today. Well, specifically in America. I can't speak for the rest of the world, but just for America in general.
I think that just kind of wrapped everything in a nice, neat little bow.
I was about to say, hey, look, it's funny because I guess our thing dropped, but yeah, like, she left the call while you was talking. I was like, she just said, "Fuck what you talking about? I want to hear about it."
That was not planned. That just kind of happened.
I said, you know
what? I'm done.
Out of it. Oh, man. All right, yeah, but I think that wrapped everything up in a nice little bow for that topic. Does anybody else have any other contributions? I think we're right around time.
Oh, we've been over time, brother, man.
I think we started kind of late too, though.
Yeah, I think probably got 45.
Yeah, we did.
Actually, pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, is we finished or are we done? Topic number 2? Do we have a number 2?
We try to limit the show to only one topic because always branches off to other things.
You call it Pluto.
So that's kind of what that is.
All right. Well, it looks like it draws to a close. Another episode of The Underground.
Are we gonna be back on Sunday? Or are we doing this now? I'm holding y'all accountable for the times you say.
She putting y'all on.
What I told David earlier, I said we need just all to come up with a time that we know for sure everybody gonna be free, and then we need to stick and be loyal to that time and not playing over that, because that's usually kind of what happens. Like everybody say, "Oh, we're gonna do it this time," and then all of a sudden at the last minute,
we'll still be together. I don't think everybody wants to hear our.
Yeah, Jamie. Jamie,
we gonna holler at y'all. Y'all have a good week, good day, all that kind of stuff.
Be blessed.
Oh gosh.